everyone, Paul ISM. Welcome to part 3 of our Fujimi 1/16 Ferrari 288 GTO build. So today we're going to be dealing with the chassis, the running gear, the brakes and the wheels. Now, it's a little bit uninspiring because most of it's going to be black. Most of it can't be seen. So it's a kind of necessary evil. We're going to go to the real extreme to do all this, because all these parts are required to fit the wheels and the running gear in place and what have you. So it's a bit boring to my eyes. You're all going to say it's not boring, but to me it was a bit like, oh, it's just all black. And I was hoping to combine this with the interior as well, but I think it won't do the interior justice then, so we'll separate them up into slightly smaller parts and release part 4 as the interior separately. On a plus point, we do get to pick a nice colour for the wheels. We get to put the engine in, and we get to test fit the body and see how it all looks at the end, and I think it looks really good. So let's crack on and get started with the build. Hey everyone, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications, get notified of our latest videos, give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and leave a comment. I do read and appreciate every comment you guys and girls leave behind. I may not reply to them all, but they are all appreciated. And there's a link in the description of the video that takes you to a big long list of all handy videos and a lot of the products I use in my videos. You now have the chance to support the video content creation by using Patreon or the PayPal me link in the description down below. All the videos always remain free to watch. This is just your chance to help support the videos. Right, well that's enough of that crack. Let's crack on with this instead. So we've got some parts to clean up, which we'll start with removing all the sprue points, sand them all nice and smooth, and get them ready for primer. So I'm going to go through a selection of sanders. We'll use a combination of thinny sticks, our customizables, buffer and sponge, depending on the variety of sanding needed. If it's flat parts like this, I'll use the thinny stick, the 400 being one of my favourites, and then we'll buff it up with the UMP buffer once we're done. If it's any smaller, squarer parts, I'll use one of the customizables, cut to size. That way we don't lose any edges because it's a flat, hard sander. And then if it's a round part, like part of the steering rack or anything with rounded edges, I'll use a sponge sander to take care of those. So again, we don't lose the rounded edge and we don't lose the profile of a part. But as always, this is a part I am enjoying less and less because I'm modelling a lot more than ever before and enjoying it. But all I ever seem to do now is clean parts up, and it's getting very boring. And as you can see, quite a lot of parts to this. There was a lot of parts to the engine, a lot of parts to the P51 we've just done. So yes, getting these parts out of the way is a bit of a chore, but it's a necessary evil, and the better job you do on it, the better end result you will get. So bear with it, stick with it, and get through it, and you'll be good to go. So, like I say, we'll use the sponge sanders on any rounded parts. That way we don't lose any definition. Use a flat sander. You've got to be very careful. If you apply too much pressure, you'll lose the rounded edge. So it's a case of pick your tool wisely and use them correctly. We do a whole range of sanders in various shapes and sizes, and you can pick which one you use and when. So we've got the chassis. Now, primer. I am going to leave these in primer. So if you know me, you know I like the Mr. Surface of 1500 black. Not necessarily as a primer as such, but I like it as a shade black. I need to prime some parts and I need to paint some parts black. So we're going to use this. 2 birds, 1 stone, nice, quick and easy. So this is thinned, pre-thinned in that bottle to the right. About 70% with Mr. Hobby Level Thinner with retarder. And we're at about 18 psi through the 0.2 mil apex. I'm just looking at this, it's the 0.2. And we're just going to put several coats down. I can tell the difference in my brushes by the end cap. The 0.2's got a more pointed one. The 0.3's got the fluted edge with the needle protector on it. I'm using the 0.2 more and more lately. It's becoming one of my preferred needle sizes for detail work like this. The only time I tend to use the 0.3 now is for UMP primer, 2K clear, or if I'm spraying large areas like I'm spraying a car body. So definitely favouring the 0.2 at the minute. Just gives a little bit more finer control, and yeah, just seems to be my go-to. But we're giving this probably 3 light coats, build it up. It looks like it's going on wet. It's not going on all that wet, really. I'm just going to build it up until we get a nice depth of black on it. Wheels. Now, I contemplated stripping these and looked at them and thought they're not a real chrome finish. So I thought it better to leave them as is. I don't know what will be under this finish. If it's any typical metallic finish underneath, it'll be the clear lacquer. And I didn't want a really shiny wheel because the real wheels don't have a real high shine. So I decided to leave the base colouring on there, which wasn't too bad to be fair, but not quite the colour I was looking for. So again, a couple of light coats of Mr. Service 1500 black. We'll let that dry, and that will give us more than enough primer for our colour. Don't forget to do the inside of the rims as well. The two-piece, these got a piece that goes on the front of the tyre and the back, and then there's like a fake brake disc that floats in between. And then we can move on to the other parts. So this part's going to be painted half black, half silver. The silver section will be in the middle. So again, use Mr. Surfacer, 2 or 3 light coats, build it up. Even though with parts like this here yellow, it does cover quite quickly. I just prefer our Ultimate Primer for general purpose priming. But as I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, I am moving over more to lacquer just for its pure ease of use and cleanup. It's just such an easy product to use. Sadly, Tamu doesn't do a black primer, so I'm stuck with using Mr. Surfacer, which isn't a bad thing. It is a good primer. It's just not my preferred primer choice. I'd rather use UMP if I can, followed by Tamiya, and then this. But I do like this as a shade of black, and I'll be honest, that's the main reason we're using it for this. So lots of parts to prime up. We're not going to go through them all because that's unbelievably boring. But as you can see, just a selection of parts there to do. They're all going to get painted black, every single part. Some will be left in this shade of black as a final colour, and then some will be painted in metallic later on. Radiator as well, and again, just a couple of light coats, 18 psi, 0.22mm needle. You can see the back of my airbrushes are marked. That one says lacquer, 0.2. That way I keep track of which airbrush is which and don't get any contaminants in there. We don't be mixing metallic paints with our base colours or clears. So we keep all these separate airbrushes. Makes life a lot easier and stops a lot of cross-contamination with paints that don't like each other. Say water-based acrylics with lacquers and so on. It does save a lot of messing about and heartache in cleaning airbrushes. It can be very frustrating when you're not sure what's quite going on. But I assure you, 9 times out of 10, if you're having airbrushing problems, your airbrush is dirty. Now, colours. I spent a while back, painting every metallic colour I had on spoons, and this is them all. And I'm hunting through here 3 times now, looking for one specific colour. And I'm looking for Mr. Hobby, Super Metallic, Super Fine Silver 2. I found it, then I dropped it, and couldn't find it again. So a good hunt through, and we eventually find it. But as you can see, I've got every shade there. So we've got a multiple choice there, but this is the colour I chose. Superfine Silver 2, lovely colour. Nice, highly pigmented metallic colour. This is it, SM201. But not a high sheen, so absolutely perfect for what we want. So we're going to give this a good mix up with the Badger paint mixer. Always give your metallics a real good shake or a mix up to get all those metal pigments mixed up. There we go. Invaluable tool, the Badger paint mixer. Absolutely love it. I know a lot of people use coffee frothers, but that's going to froth your paint, not mix it. And as you can see, just using a mixing paddle froths this up enough. So yeah, I think it's a better tool in my opinion. And then we use the stem of the mixer to take the paint into the pot, and then we're going to get some Mr. Hobby Rapid Thinner, which is what I tend to use more and more for my metallics now. A quick splash of that in there, no measuring at all, just do it by eye. Quick mix up, and we're ready to go again. So again, 0.2mm Apex, different airbrush. This is my metallics one. Load up the airbrush. I'm going to put several coats down on all these parts. There's only about half a dozen parts-ish, 8 at the most to do. We're just going to build everything up slowly. Get all the angles on the wheels, all the recesses, and as you can see, it covers absolutely fantastic, and it's a beautiful, beautiful colour. Mr. Hobby Super Metallics are wonderful paints. Very nice metallic colours, especially loving the stainless steel at the minute. But this is the perfect colour for me. Now, a lot of people are saying that these wheels are too small. I don't know. I've measured them in millimetres, and then I've scaled that up 2 inches. Resized it in inches, and then scaled it up 16 times. And it's coming out to be the correct size. But a lot of people are telling me that, well, a few people are telling me they're the wrong size. But they are what they are. These are what are going on the car. If they're the wrong size, so be it. But this is what we're going to use. And again, make sure we get the inside of the rims as well, because on a lot of wheels you can see right through. So does it harm to put another couple of coats on? Not really. You've already got the paint mixed, so we might as well do it. Other parts to paint up, again, 2 or 3 light coats. Just build it up nice and slow. No rush. Again, we're about 18 psi, 16, 18 psi. Not hosing the paint on. Just putting light coats on, working our way around. To lacquer paint, it does dry. Not quite as quick as some of the other lacquers, but it does dry fairly quick. And again, onto our steering hub, quick spin. And then the brake disc, if you can call that a brake disc. It's pretty pathetic, to be fair. But this is the case with the kit parts. And yeah, there we go. So what we'll do, we'll brush paint our caliper colour later on. These can be left to dry overnight. And we can come and we can then get a wash on the wheels the next day. So like I say, the Super Metallics, they're a lacquer. They do dry quick, but they tend to stay a little bit tackier than, say, the LPs or the TS lacquers. So just take your time. Definitely leave them overnight before you start handling them. But you can see that colour there is built up beautiful, really highly pigmented metallics. But not a silly high shine. Once this dries, it's going to have a nice finish to it. Just what we were looking for. Lovely. So next day, we can do a little bit of unmasking. So we're going to unmask this rear panel. Now, why use the rapid thinner rather than a leveling thinner? So the theory I've read is, if the metallic paint dries quicker, it gives less chance of the metallic particles to settle in the finish, and they stay at the surface and give a shinier finish. Now, is that a load of rubbish? I don't know. Am I noticing anything different? I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm trying it, and we're going to see how it goes over time. My poor old venerable bottle of Model Colour Black is coming to the end of its working life. So we're getting the last dregs out of it, and then it's going in the bin, replaced by a younger suitor of a new bottle. Serve me well, young bottle. Live long. Enjoy your retirement in the bin. Drop of water. Grab a brush. Now, I did something here, and I kind of regret doing it now. I forgot to prime these when we were priming, and the next day I thought, you know what, we'll brush paint these. And it was a bad idea. Really bad idea, because it was awful. It was not good. It rubbed off, straight off. No adhesion whatsoever. And I had to keep touching it up. So, yeah. Next time, I'll just airbrush it. Get a bit of lacquer primer on there. And do it properly. But we did it this way. And this is what we've got now. These are not really highly visible parts. It's not the end of the world. It's just one of those. But yeah, cutting corners does not always work, sadly. And yeah, it can bite you in the backside sometimes. And then onto our caliper. So we've got some LP61, I think metallic grey it is. And we're going to paint it up. Pretty bland, but that's basically what the calipers look like. And again, we're not really going to see them through the wheels because they're not really open spoke. So it's a little bit of a bland running gear brake system, this one. Most of it's black. Even the suspension springs are black, so not much to really look at. And like I say, we're not going to really see it on the model because it's all hidden away. So this is function over look at the end of the day. It's a formality doing this because we need all this as a base to get everything together. But the LPs, as long as you load your brush up and don't keep going over the same part, they actually brush paint pretty well. Not too bad at all. Tyres, they've got a fairly big seam through the middle of them. Now, you could sand it if you wanted. Ages ago, I'm pretty sure it was Steve, sent me this de-seamer tool for RC cars. And this works great. Now, I believe a cuticle remover, I think it is, will do the same job. And in fact, I think these are just cuticle removers, rebranded. But it's great. It's got a nice sharp blade with a V to it. And it's a case of finding the seam and just slowly working your way around. If you're lucky, you get it off in a big load like this, a big worm of rubber. And just work your way around. Doesn't need a lot of pressure. We don't want to gouge the tyre. We just want to remove the top. Now, you could use a knife to do this, a bit more tricky. You could sand it, but it's going to bother the rest of the tread. And the tread was really good on these tyres. They are very, very nice Pirelli branded tyres. So that's the perfect thing to do. And that's what we've done. A little bit of rubber flash in the centre of the tyres. They're not going to bother us at all. But a quick test fit of the wheels. And this is why we need to leave them overnight. You've got to put a bit of pressure on the wheel face. And if that paint hasn't quite cured, you're going to affect it. Now, front and rears are specific. So check all the fronts are the same. Front of the wheels. But the front and rear of the actual car, it's staggered. It's got wider wheels at the back. So you've got different inserts for the back of the actual vehicle. So you need to be aware of that. And then these are our fake brake discs, which we didn't do anything with at all. We're contemplating putting a wash on them, and when I put them on the wheel, you can't even see them. They're not visible at all. To be honest, they're a complete waste of time even fitting them, but we did it anyway. And yeah, just checking the fit. Wash, so I've got some Tamiya panel line wash. I put some in one of our paint cups, added a drop or two of Santador odorless mineral spirits to thin it a little bit more, to get that capillary action travelling around a bit better, because I don't want to swamp the wheel in wash. So we just thinned it out a little bit, and then we'll let these dry and come back and remove the excess later on. Pretty nice wheels. I like them. Very happy with the colour. We've got that beautiful metallic sheen without being too shiny. Like I say, some people are thinking the wheel's too small. If they are, they are. To me, they measure up to be about the right size. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's my model. I'm building out of the box. I've got a set of F40 wheels, but I think they're way too wide for this thing that I've got spare. But these are going on. I'm happy with it. And if you're not, well, you can sort yourself out. At the end of the day, this is my model. And it's getting built just how I want. There we go. So we'll leave that to dry off camera. As you can see, the spring, the paint is literally just wiping off almost. So it's a real spring on a non-working suspension strut with a collar one end that you've got to very awkwardly try and line up and pop in. Bit pointless, really. It's a bit gimmicky, this, because you can't see it. The rears aren't like this, so it's kind of completely pointless. But anyway, it is what it is. That's what's in there. And there we go. So we've taken half the paint off. Definitely would have airbrushed this. Should have gone back. Should have been lazy. And should have just airbrushed it. But we can touch it up with a micro brush. With our model colour again. And just remove all the shininess. And then pop that to one side to dry for a little bit. So a bit annoying. But this is what you get for cutting corners. And you'll never know unless you try. But airbrushing, especially a lacquer primer over a metal part like this, it's going to work better. So there we go. I like the micro brushes. They are handy little tools. Except when you drop it and you've got to repaint it. Or get paint all over your fingers because you've got paint on the side of the micro brush. It turns a bit of a calamity, but we got there in the end. And it definitely shows that cutting corners doesn't always save time. Especially when you use your instruction book as a paint palette because you spilled your paint. Doesn't always work, does it? So do things properly rather than cutting corners. Now, we've got lots of parts to glue on. Now, in no way, shape or form did I glue any of these parts on the wrong way and put things on the wrong side at all and then had to refit them the correct way. That 100% did not happen. And anyone who says it did, you're a liar. So yes, so here we are fitting the suspension for the first time. And look at that, we got it absolutely perfect first time, all lined up, correct way, no issues whatsoever. So yes, make sure you refer to instructions and you're not a dingbat like me and put everything on the opposite side. Then go to fit the wheel and think, oh, the wheel's really far forward. Oh, because I put everything the wrong way. Fiddly to do this. It does have quite good locator points, but they are fiddly and they move around. So once we've got both of these on, we're going to measure them to make sure they're the same height to the wheel arch, which is between 26 and 26.5 millimeter. So make sure that our ride height is about correct. And then we make sure our wheel fits like so. And it does. So happy with that. And then we'll just check the other side. Make sure they're all lined up. And then we can leave those to dry. Radiator hoses. I say hoses in the loosest sense of the word. In place. CA glued in. Again, you're not really going to see these at all. It's pretty pointless. But they're in there. We know they're there. And then onto our rear suspension as well. So lessons learned on the first one. Check all the parts first. You see me referring to instructions. And yeah, the parts, they locate quite well. They're not too bad. Could definitely be better. It's just a case of using some CA glue, line everything up. Keeping everything straight and level is the most important thing of all, in my opinion. And yeah, just get it all lined up. Follow the instructions. I'd say you can't go wrong, but you can because I did. Because I'm silly. So, like I say, pretty bland running gear. On the real car, it's all black. I contemplated dry brushing it and thought, no, I don't think it's going to suit this car. Like it did with the American cars that it did. So I decided not to, just to keep it clean. Keep it black. The Mr. Surfer black is a great colour. But I'm just checking here, make sure I've done the right way round. Everything's orientated right. Everything's level. Now I'm doubting I've got the right part here. I'm just checking the instructions. Yep, that's the right one. Even though I pick up the other one. So I did have the wrong one. Shh, don't tell anyone. And there we go. So now you need to start being careful of CA glue. Don't get on your fingers and start ruining your hard work. But just keep referring to those instructions and you'll do pretty good. Right, while I'm faffing with this, a quick word from our sponsors. Head on over to www.umpretail.com and help support mine and Lee's business, because without Ultimate Modelling Products, there would not be any international scale modeler, and all the videos we put out there, and the Facebook page, and the forum we run. We stock loads and loads of modelling products, including all our own products of our Apex airbrush, our pigments, primers, sanders, thinner and cleaner tools, our wonderful storage system, polish system, and weathering washes. We also sell modelling tools, paints, model kits, glue, solutions, fillers, weathering products, aftermarket, and of course, international scale modeler merchandise and gift cards. And all orders made before 12 midday get next day delivery in the UK, and international orders are shipped within 48 hours. Right then, on to the other side as well. Like I say, just keep referring to those instructions. Be careful with your glue, line everything up, and you can't go wrong. With the rear section, the engine has the metal axle going through it, and it has to line up with all this. So if you've got anything in the wrong place, you'll soon find out in a bit. So just take your time. We've got to put the discs on as well. So we're just using the Pen Direct. You know I like these Loctite pens. They have changed the packages on these now. They brought out a newer version, same applicator, different colour. And they've upped the price a bit as well. So we now need to put the engine in place. Engine's looking great. Really happy with this. Beautiful tonal variations with everything. Really happy with this. It's going to look great through the back lid of the engine deck. So we need to be careful here. Now we're going to line it up into its locator holes and then check the position of that axle as well. So I'm not going to glue it in just yet. I'm just going to get it all in place. Carefully pop it into its locators, make sure they're all lined up. Then we'll grab the steel axle, which is just on my instructions to the right there. And we're going to pop it through. And very, very gently. I wonder why it was sticking, because there's a little bit of white tack still on all the parts inside, and it had to push the white tack out. So it was a little bit of a fiddle to get in, but once we get it through, there we go, lined up, everything lined up great. And I thought, yeah, spot on, we can glue the engine in place now. So check these caps fit, which they do. And now we can commit to gluing the engine in place. So we're just going to carefully lift it up either side and just add a couple of dabs of glue here and there. And then glue it down, and then we get these hubs on the back. Push them home. They don't fit close up together. There's a little bit of play in them so you can move them around. So just get them central. Wheels. So the washer's dried now. We've got a bit of Sansador from Winsor Newton on a cotton bud. And we're going to remove as much of that wash as we can. We just want the hint of wash. We don't want a massive panel line wash. So one of Tamiya's pointed cotton buds into the top. Get rid of most of that wash. That'll just leave us a nice bit of definition to the wheels. Wheels are actually really nice. I really like this designer wheel. Very classic Ferrari. And then clean up the rest of the wheel as we go. We repeat that on all 4 rims. As you can see, beautiful silver colour. Nice bit of definition from the wash. And then we've got the really nice chrome centre caps, which was left chrome out the kit to pop in place. So we've got fake this to go in the back. So the rear wheels again need gluing in place. It's how they attach by the look of it. The front ones are screwed in place. So we get our disc in place like so. And then line it up, pop it in, give it a little spin, make sure it's all lined up and leave it be. Repeat that for the other side. Make sure everything's lined up and we're happy. And they do rotate on the axle. Oh my god, I'm at it today. They do rotate on the axle. The front ones, they're on their own independent hubs. So these are screwed in place. Little plastic washer to go in between the screw and the wheel. Screw it in place. Sorry, my hand's in the way. They were proving quite troublesome because the screws are about 12 foot long when they don't need to be. But you see there, little washer goes in place and holds it in. And then we've got our chrome centre cap as well. The rear ones pushed in place and held themselves in perfectly. Front ones are a little bit looser. So I've got some Deluxe Materials glue and glaze, PVA based glue. I'm just going to apply a couple of spots inside. Like so. And then pop the centre cap in. And then repeat that on the other side. Steering rack is an absolute nightmare on this thing. Keeps popping off. So in the end, I just glued it straight. I never turn the wheels. Never do. I'm not going to be running around this round on the carpet making broom broom noises. So wheels straight on is fine for me. But yeah, a little bit of glue, not too much. And then just pop the centre cap in, push it home, job done. So, looking good. Obviously, we've still got the interior tub to put on here. And there's an anti-roll bar on the back as well, which we just glued in place. But yeah, we've got the interior tub, the luggage compartment to do. That'll be in part 4. And we're really flying through this. There's a lot less to this kit than there was the 959. That was a lot more of a technical build. This one's a little bit simpler. So I thought, right, why not? Let's chuck the body on. Let's have a little test fit. See how she all looks. See how it sits on its wheels. Quite a nerve-wracking moment, this, because you never know quite how everything's going to look. Is everything going to line up? Have I done everything correctly? How does it look? So there's a lip at the front that clicks in place, and then there's 2 locating points at the back. Just need to make sure that they click in place. Wherever you do, make sure your hands are clean. You've got no Say glue on them. We do not want to ruin your paint job. We've still got to flat and polish all this body shell yet. This is exactly how it was after we put the 2K on. It hasn't been touched since then. We've got a nice finish already, and it'll be even nicer once we get rid of some of those dust spots. flat it and give it a nice polish. But yeah, just make sure everything's located. We're not gluing it in place just yet. And there we go. Lines up pretty well. Just done a quick look off camera. Yeah, looks to sit well. It sits straight. Ride height looks pretty good. Have a little look. Make sure everything's lined up. We've got equal spaces between the wheels and the back. Yeah, doesn't look bad at all. Quite happy with that. Absolutely love this red. It's a beautiful red. The Rosso Corsa from Gravity. Absolutely stunning. And then I thought, right, let's lob the panels on, get some pictures, have a little look how it's all sitting. And yeah, doors are just push fitted on at the minute because we've got all the hinges to put on. They don't line up too bad, although the panel line is, the trim line on the body is higher slightly on one place, but there's not much I can do about that, sadly. But this is going to look good once it's done. And we're really getting there now. We've got the interior to do, final assembly, and it's all done. Like I said, a lot simpler of a kit than a 959. And here she is. She's looking good. So I think the wheels look alright. Some people are saying they're too small. I think they're alright. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, we're not changing them. They're staying as they are. And this is what we've got. But it's a pretty looking car. We've got loads of dust, unfortunately. That's just by the by. We can get rid of that with polishing and sanding. Interior next. I am not sure on interior colour just yet. So if you've got any suggestions, let me know in the chat below. Comments below, sorry. Maybe just go black. Keep it classic black. Or, I don't know. I need to Google some interior colours for the 288. But without any tweaking on the rims and the tyres, they actually look to sit pretty well. Ride out looks pretty good from what I've seen in the standard car. So, hopefully, the finishing stages of this should be pretty trouble-free. Probably just jinx myself, but we'll see. The little angry man, as Joe keeps telling me, is definitely there holding up the windscreen still. That is staying in until the body is polished, because we've got black window rubbers to paint, so that can stay in for now. We've got the exhaust tips to sort out as well, but it's looking good. Really happy how it's coming out. Loving the stance. Very pretty Ferrari. One of the best looking Ferraris ever made, in my opinion. Coming along well. So yeah, we're getting there now with the engine compartment open, and then we go for an overhead shot. We can see right in. Engine looks great. Really happy with that engine. Probably all the wrong colour, but to me, it looks pretty decent. So that's where we're at today. Like I say, not much interesting builds. No real weathering and what have you going on there. But we're just not going to see it. And somebody asked me this question in one of the comments, you know, what's my thought process on what's worth doing and what's not? Well, if it's hardly visible, do it. If it's not, it's up to you if you want to do it then, because if you're never going to see that suspension strut, because you'll never see the ones on this car. I don't think you can see them from any angle once the wheels are on. Is it worth spending a couple of hours detailing it up when that time could go elsewhere? By all means, if parts can be seen, do it, but I think it's sometimes a bit of a waste of time to do, but only you can decide what's worth doing the same way I do. And on parts like the suspension on this and that, it's just not worth the time doing at all. You can't see it through the wheels. You can't see anything at all. So I focus on the more important bit. So hope you can understand that. I don't think, oh, it's cutting corners, yada, yada, yada. It is what it is. But we've got a nice colour for the wheels. Really happy with that. Engine's in place. I love the engine on this car. It looks absolutely great. I can see why Fujimi gives you a separate stand now to display them. And we've got the body on, and the stance looks pretty good out of the box. Like I say, some people are saying the wheels are too small. They look okay to me. I don't know what we could say there. We're not changing them because I don't have any others. I'm not 3D printing any or messing around with that. We're going with the kit wheels, and that's that. So they're too small. I've measured them. They look spot on to me, but hey, that's a personal opinion. So there we go. As always, check out Intense Scale Modeler Facebook page and forum. You can help support the videos with Patreon and PayPal me should you wish. All the links are in the description down below, and your support is greatly appreciated. Check out umpretail.com. You can buy a lot of the products I use in my videos. my Paul ISM Facebook page, where all my modelling work is shared on Facebook. And check out the Live at the Bench page on Facebook and the Off Air Hangout group as well to join our live show on a Friday night and Sunday morning, and our Off Air Hangouts, which are on every single day. So there we go. Make sure you give the channel a like, a thumbs up, same thing. Subscribe to us, click the bell notification, read a comment. I love reading all your comments. You'll all get a heart if I like your comment. Get a bit of negativity lately, but hey, that's by the by. But yeah, I'll try and reply to questions if I can, but it's just so busy now. It's great. It really is nice to get lots of feedback, so thank you all. But I do appreciate and read every single comment, and thank you to everyone that's helping to support these videos. You're all absolute stars, and thank you very much. So next video up, I've got an idea of a review to do and maybe a future build, so stay tuned. It'll probably be up in a couple of days. I'm trying to up the video content. A lot of people say, carefully don't burn yourself out, but I'm actually enjoying it. It's giving me something to focus on and enjoy, so I'm actually enjoying it at the minute. If it gets too much, don't worry, I'll cut back. But like I said, the video builds, I didn't expect to have a video ready today for this, but it was there, it was done. I got through it all this morning, and I thought, oh well, there's a video. Let's edit it. Let's get it done. Started at 9:30 this morning, and it's now 2 p.m. And here we go. This will be on the channel by 5-6 o'clock tonight. So there we are. Thanks for watching today. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.